in response to why some top talent, especially in the female division for WWE, has nothing for WrestleMania 40, which is less than a week and a half away. The internal word from WWE is, and I quote, they have nothing for them. They just don't have anything for them. It's WrestleMania season, all hands on deck, and people that are riding with momentum, like Tiffany Stratton, they just have nothing. Now, at least Tiffany Stratton is having some fun with it, right? She's putting out on a social doohickey machine that basically every day is Tiffy time for those wondering why I am not at WrestleMania this year. Oh, it's an LA Knight situation all over again. We'll get to that in a second. But first, the official countdown is at 9 days away from WrestleMania 40 and Hunter Hearst Helmsley Triple H terrorizing Paul Levesque McMahon is receiving backlash from fans who feel that a lot of the top female talent is not being used correctly, or should I say not being used at all, with the biggest event of the year coming up in just 9 days. We'll talk all about it in just a minute, but a developing story, and this is interesting. Eric Bischoff and Tony Khan, that war continues, rages on. It was announced within the last 24 hours that whatever podcast Eric Bischoff is a part of or runs, whatever it may be, Strictly Business, I believe is what it was called, it is coming to an end. And this is music to Tony Khan's ears. Tony Khan actually made a comment about that podcast from Eric Bischoff coming to an end. And Tony Khan says, and I quote, sunsetting this fraud of a business podcast before the next AEW media deal is a wise choice, end quote, from Tony Khan. So Tony's saying, yeah, you don't want to stick around because our next media deal is going to be big business, but you don't want to talk about that. So this podcast is coming to an end. Now, that's probably best for you, Eric, is what Tony Khan is saying. So Eric Bischoff responded earlier this morning. Bischoff says, and I quote, to Tony Khan, Bischoff says, a money mark with no talent other than spending daddy's money, going all the way to Canada to draw less than 4K in one of the hottest pro wrestling markets in North America. Talking about wise choices. Strap in. It's going to be a fun day. End quote by Bischoff. So that's what I got for you now. By the time this gets out to you guys in your subscription boxes, by the time you guys are listening to this, they might have raged on the war even further. But something tells me, even with Bischoff's podcast coming to an end, that war probably isn't over between those two. A lot of animosity there, man. So Bischoff retaliating strong with Tony Khan's words, and Tony Khan just could not bite his tongue, man. Bischoff was about to ride off into the sunset. A major pain in the ass of AEW, I'm sure, is how Tony looks at Eric. But he couldn't just let him go away quietly. Had to send in that dig, and that just set off Bischoff. Anyway, we'll be keeping an eye on that. But over to Paul Levesque McMahon, WWE, WrestleMania 9 nights away. This is one of those strange WrestleMania seasons, right? For a long time, it just didn't feel like WrestleMania season. Not until Monday night did I truly watch something and I thought, all right, this is getting good. Not that I need to see a tag team match with Cody and Seth as tag team partners, no matter who they're facing. That just doesn't scream WrestleMania to me, but The Rock at least made it fun again Monday night with that Attitude Era-esque finish. Very badass, very fun. And it was only then did it start to feel anything like there's a big event around the corner, let alone 9 days away. So WWE finds themselves in a unique position they've never been in before, with less than a week and a half before their biggest event of the year, and just now they're starting to garner excitement for WrestleMania 40, or at least attempting to garner that excitement. And it's the women's division that has a lot of fans more befuddled than anything. Top stars for the females, that should already have something for WrestleMania by now. For weeks, they should have been heavily involved in a storyline. Females like Tiffany Stratton. This is one of the most mind-boggling ones to even BC. Tiffany Stratton is somebody who debuted a couple months ago. She had everybody upon her debut in the palm of her hands, cheering her name. The momentum that Tiffany had coming out of her debut is monumental. She goes to the what was it, Australia, I believe it was, for Elimination Chamber. Tens of thousands of fans screaming her name. What time is it? They told you it was Tiffy time. Tiffany Stratton inside the Elimination Chamber, and she was the heavy favorite. With all this momentum that she was rocking with, she picks up a W over Naomi. They don't even do anything with it. That's probably just to punish Naomi more for walking away. Tiffany Stratton is missing WrestleMania, unless with just 9 days to go, tomorrow will be SmackDown. That'll be 8 days. Unless last minute they throw her into something. I guess it would be like a women's battle royal. Just like the men in the Andre the Giant battle royal. They've done in the past like a female version of it. But Tiffany Stratton has all the momentum in the world, and Paul Levesque McMahon made sure, just like he did to LA Knight, he made sure to stifle it, to stomp on that momentum. For some reason, whether it's Vincent Kennedy or Paul Levesque McMahon, for some reason, they just want to humble you instead of help you. And they don't understand if they help you, it's going to greatly help the company. The company will benefit from these wrestlers benefiting. I truly believe the moment CM Punk walked out of WWE after the Rumble, what was it, nearly 10 years ago, when he took off, that was the moment WWE stopped allowing superstars, wrestlers, to get over on their own. That was the moment where, unless WWE was pushing you themselves, they were not going to allow talents to get over or get bigger than the company, or at least have them perceive that they are bigger than the company. Because there's no other excuse. Paul Levesque McMahon, for instance, when he took over fully around SummerSlam, it was actually at SummerSlam of last year, and he puts LA Knight, when LA Knight had all the momentum in the world, by the way. You can say VKM started the botch him, because that was coming out of the Royal Rumble match, but it was Vincent Kennedy that put him with Bray Wyatt. And that was the moment in that storyline people thought, okay, LA Knight, I can rock with this dude. He can put storylines on his back, or at least help Bray Wyatt do such. And even though that was a gimmick match, and a lot of fans had a lot of different things to say about that pitch black Mountain Dew match, LA Knight came out looking like gold. All the momentum was with LA Knight, and for some reason he misses WrestleMania. It was a battle royal the night before WrestleMania on SmackDown where the loudest chant was for LA Knight, a dude that was not even going to be at WrestleMania. So now HHH has full control. Everybody thinks LA Knight is going to be catapulted to the moon. It's SummerSlam. It's Paul Levesque McMahon's coming out party as the man in WWE, and LA Knight is in the Slim Jim Battle Royal. The Slim Jim Battle Royal. We're going to put him there. Don't worry, we're going to have him win to shut everybody up. But he's going to be in the Slim Jim Battle Royal. And then he proceeds to lose the Money in the Bank match. He does not walk away with the briefcase. Loses. Then he loses the opportunity to get a United States Championship match. Not even just the match itself. The opportunity, a fatal four-way. And he can't even win that. He's kept off one of the biggest shows of the year, Madison Square Garden. I believe it was a SmackDown. And he is kept off of that show. Nobody to this day knows why he was kept off that show, not even LA Knight. They catapult him to a match with Roman Reigns with 2 weeks of notice just to be flat on his back looking up at the lights, which greatly will just hurt him for a championship opportunity in the future, but nobody wanted to think about that at the time. We'll just feed LA Knight to Roman Reigns because they just didn't care about LA Knight. Thank goodness AJ Styles came back not long ago around, what was it, Survivor Series, because now LA Knight at least has a match for WrestleMania. But this is one of the biggest ovations of 2023. The fans got behind this dude like something we haven't seen in years. It caught on like wildfire. And LA Knight is still trying to swim to shore. He's trying not to sink in Paul Levesque McMahon's WWE because Levesque McMahon just doesn't see any true value in LA Knight. And we were hoping that Tiffany Stratton would be different, right? What happened to LA Knight, absolutely tragic. And to this day, you listen to an LA Knight interview and he still is talking about how that really chips away at him, that he knows that his booking should have been different and better in 2023. But we were hoping that with Tiffany Stratton, that wasn't going to be the case. You strike while the iron is hot. You strike immediately. The momentum is all on Tiffany's side. Why would you just stifle that? Why would you just sit her out many weeks? Have her win just nonsensical matches. That's only going to hurt other people like Naomi, which we'll get to in a minute. But this booking of Tiffany Stratton when everybody is firmly in the palm of her hand is absolute stupidity at its finest, or I guess you could say its worst. And now with 9 days away from Mania, Tiffany Stratton doesn't even have a match. She doesn't have a storyline. She has nothing. So the only thing you could even ask at this point is that she gets chucked into some battle royal. Sound familiar? The only thing missing is that it's sponsored by Slim Jim. And Tiffany Stratton wins the Slim Jim WrestleMania Battle Royal. You laugh, but that's the only thing WWE can do right now. I was calling for Naomi, Tiffany tag titles against the Kabuki Warriors. Even though that's heel and face and it's an interesting dynamic, but Tiffany Stratton is already being cheered like a face. Naomi could really use some booking help right now. I think that would be a really good tag team. I mean, the talent, my goodness, that would be fun. And then they get championships. But no, that's another story. Naomi, Naomi comes back just to rack up L's. Naomi is doing more. Naomi's doing just the same amount of losing as she did before she left. This time, it just feels like it's punishment. If we can't get Mercedes punished, we're just going to double down on you. I mean, not even the Tiffany Stratton loss, but you guys look at last Friday. Why is Naomi losing against Io? I'm not saying Io, the champion, should be losing. Why book the match and why make any of those ladies lose clean when at the post-match, Damage Control was attacking Naomi anyway. So why do you not have the attack right before the bell and you save Naomi the defeat? Common sense is not so common with Levesque McMahon. And Naomi eats another loss, and 9 days before Mania, Naomi doesn't even have anything. It looks like they can at any moment declare a tag team match with Naomi and Bianca Belair versus the Kabuki Warriors. But how does Belair qualify for a tag team title match? And unfortunately, just because Naomi had some words with Damage Control and she's a friend of Bayley, how would Naomi get a tag title shot or opportunity when Naomi is losing all the time? And your reward is a tag title opportunity. So they're not even setting these wrestlers up to make sense storyline-wise. If you do Bianca and Naomi for a tag title match, you gotta have it make sense leading up to it. Not only did they not care, they probably didn't even think about these questions. That's the problem. They're just going week to week, show by show. And they don't even know if they want to do that tag match. That's why you haven't heard anything about it yet. Do we even put Bianca in that spot? Because Bianca's another name. Bianca's touted as one of the greatest females in WWE and all of pro wrestling. 9 days away from the event, they don't know what they're doing with Belair. So the simplistic route for them is to just throw her with Naomi. Last second, make the match. There you go with the Kabuki Warriors. Because you guessed it, the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi, same situation. And they're the tag team champions. And they have zero matches for WrestleMania. That's right, matches, right? Because tag title holders, I would have them facing a team on Saturday night and a team on Sunday night. That would make the title special. It would be fun. It would put a lot of spotlight and focus. Not just the women's division, but those women's tag titles, right? Man, they got to defend twice. It's WrestleMania. It's 2 nights. You're the champions. Man, that's a lot of fun. No, instead, they don't even have one team lined up for the Kabuki Warriors. They have no matches. No match at all for the Kabuki Warriors. And this was before Asuka was injured a couple SmackDowns ago, by the way. And she is back on the road. She is completely cleared. So anybody thinking, well, this is because there was just a question mark on Asuka. No, there wasn't. A couple weeks ago, there was a minor setback. She was pulled from the road, walking fine. Trainer said, yep, all she needs is a few days off, heal up. She'll be ready to go for Mania. They just don't want to create anything. They don't want to announce a match because they don't even know if they want to do any of these matches, these tag title matches. And again, it's just thrown together anyway. Naomi and Bianca Belair. But as of now, Bianca still has nothing. Naomi has nothing. Asuka has nothing. Kari has nothing. You're champions. And what about Liv Morgan? Liv Morgan just got back, like Naomi, right? So they have all the momentum. The fans are firmly behind Liv Morgan. Hugely. Now all she needs is WWE to meet her halfway, give her solid booking. Not only did they not do that, they don't even have her in WrestleMania. They didn't bring her. They brought her back with enough time to set up a storyline. And for anybody thinking that there's just not enough time for a storyline, BC, well, what are you talking about? There's still 5 matches up front that need to be penciled in for Mania. Don't forget, it's 2 nights now, guys. So now you went from too many matches in one night to not enough matches for 2 nights. So even if you look at a 7 to 8 match, right? We're not even talking 8, 9, 10 matches a night. Even if you want a good solid 7, maybe 8 matches each night. I mean, you still have to pencil in a bunch. You should have, when you brought Liv back, you should have had a game plan. Don't just bring people back and don't have a plan, right? Oh, we'll just take it show by show. Because you're never going to go back, right? You're never going to come full circle. You're just going to put Liv Morgan on the bench. And that's what a lot of these female, just like the dudes as well, but they're just being put on the bench and the coach isn't going over to the bench. You're just playing the same players. So Liv Morgan has all the momentum in the world as well, and Liv Morgan is just sitting on the bench for Mania. Again, maybe last second she gets thrusted into the, I don't know, some type of battle royal, right? Again, all we're missing is Slim Jim sponsoring it, and you just got an LA Knight situation all over again from SummerSlam. I mean, it's wild to me. There was talk of Liv Morgan being included with Becky and Rhea's match. I'm actually glad that they just kept that one-on-one. I don't like too many schmaz matches for titles, and you already have that with Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, and Logan Paul. You have the tag team champions for the dudes, Judgment Day. They're taking on 5 contenders. So it's not the number 1 contenders going for the gold at Mania. It's the number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5 contenders. Because that's what would happen in reality, right? Super Bowl, it's not between 2 teams. You'd have 5 teams going for the Super Bowl Lombardi Trophy. Right? The World Series, it's not just the Yankees and the Dodgers. No. We're going to add in the San Francisco Giants. We're going to add the Boston Red Sox. Maybe we'll throw in the Marlins, right? No? What do you want? The Angels? But 5 teams are going to go for the World Series. In WWE, they take titles. It's supposed to be fun and prestigious, right? There's supposed to be a believability to it. And they just chuck a bunch of teams. So 6 teams are going to be going for tag titles. The hope is obviously it's a big enough train wreck that, you know, the audience is just, we are the cats and all the wrestlers are the toys. And we're just going to be following along this absolute, it's just like ping pong balls, just going all over the ring and jumping off ladders and through ladders and, you know, and during the match, obviously, just chant a bunch, right? This is awesome, fight forever. I mean, that's what they're hoping for. So, you know what? You'll get it because you'll have 106 people in the ring at once. But you know, they want to do fatal 4-ways for it's easy for them booking-wise. You just throw in a bunch of individuals and you don't got to overthink it. Jade Cargill, by the way. Jade Cargill showed up at the Rumble. At the Rumble, that's plenty of time to set up a Mania match. Even if it's 2 minutes. You just do a bicycle kick and jack up Nia Jax. 1, 2, 3. There you go. She debuts at the Rumble. Everybody's in the palm of her hand screaming. What a reception for Jade Cargill. And then you don't see her again. She shows up every now and again backstage like she's going to sign a contract. And then, just this past Friday, It's announced that she has signed with SmackDown, and tomorrow night, which then will be 8 days before Mania, she's going to debut with SmackDown. All right, does that mean she's being catapulted with 1 week left before Mania into WrestleMania? Was there a reason we waited last second like all these other females, which again, most of them are going to be thrown into like a battle royal? Or maybe they'll do like a 6 teams at once match, right? Just like the dudes. Maybe Asuka and Kairi would be taking on like 4 or 5 teams themselves. Who knows, man? But Jade Cargill is just debuting tomorrow. Technically, anyway. Signed to SmackDown exclusively. So she has nothing for Mania either. I mean, you just keep going on and on. I have no list in front of me. I'm not even looking. I mean, this is just top of my dome piece. Went from Tiffany Stratton to Liv Morgan, Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, Naomi, Asuka, Kairi, champions. A week before Mania, you don't have any matches set. That is not proper business. We all know that. Especially when there's individuals that are getting the reactions they're getting, like Tiffy time. Or Morgan. You can't do that. They can't get those type of receptions and then you totally take them off the road. Take them off the shows. Stomp out their momentum. I don't understand why Levesque McMahon, like Kennedy McMahon, feels the need to humble these wrestlers instead of help them. Humble them down. Make sure their ego isn't bigger than WWE. Screw that. If they're doing good enough, big enough business, their ego can inflate a little bit. Have those talks with them along the way. But don't completely make sure that they can't get to the next level. Don't be a detriment to them. Help them. WrestleMania, 9 days away. A lot of talent. Has nothing as of this recording. Till next time, and there will be that next time, BC, in his amplified unit, saying check you.